President Cyril Ramaphosa continued with his engagements as he mobilises communities in Kimberley to attend the party's January 8th statement that will be held in Galeshewe, Kimberley. The oldest liberation movement in Africa celebrated 180 years yesterday. In line with the party's tradition that dates back to the exile years, the president of the ANC delivers what is commonly known as the ANC NEC January 8th statement. The statement is used to rally the party faithfuls as the president outlines the programme of action of the party, looking at the current situation and what the party's plans are to deal with the challenges facing the country. Among those expected to attend the event is the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, who recently received the Nobel Peace Prize. The president was also quizzed about tensions between the US and Iran and load shedding.
Mr. President, what's your view on Iran?
No, we're going to address Iran. Let me campaign for the rally first, then we'll address Iran.
But if you can just give us a brief comment on Iran, please.
No, we will address Iran. Let me campaign for the rally first.
Okay. Are you ready for Saturday, though? Is the statement ready?
More than ready. Look at this. More than ready. You can see the people are excited to see the ANC amongst them. So this continues to show us that the people love the African National Congress. And we are ready for Saturday, by the way.
Another load shedding again.
Yes, but you know, these are challenges that we are facing. We are facing these challenges and we are addressing them.
Well, for more on the ANC celebrations, we cross to our reporter Natasha Peary, who's standing by for us in Kimberley. Natasha, over to you.
Well, very good afternoon to you, Nompu, and of course to our SABC viewers. Indeed, we've been seeing various leaders of the ANC just campaigning in and around, the province of the Northern Cape, from Uppington to here in Kimberley and various other parts. But of course, I'm also joined by the TG of the organization, Paul Mashadile, who actually came to engage with the youth of Galeshewe here. And of course, he was attending the Ekasi Fair Trade. Of course, TG, you are in charge of the coffers of the ANC. Before you go to the ANC's coffers, I mean, in light of the recent revelations by the World Bank, is the ANC not worried that the prospects of economic growth are not improving the country?
We have already identified the economy as a big challenge. So you will see that there's going to be a lot of focus on that. My view is that one of the biggest priorities for us is to fix the energy sector, not just Eskom, but to bring on board the other elements of our mixed energy approach. Look at gas, look at solar, other renewables. So if we put our energy on fixing, our energies on fixing the sector, I think we can propel the levels of growth higher than what the World Bank is projecting at the moment of 0.9. It can be done.
Okay, TG, unemployment is a huge bone of contention, especially around here in Kimberley. I mean, driving through the streets of Kimberley, a lot of young people are unemployed. Yesterday, we were just engaging with them. I mean, one of the main priorities here is to deal with that issue. But they're saying the ANC government has been promising, it's 26 years now of democracy. The ANC has been saying, listen, we will prioritize the economy, we will prioritize young people. But when is it actually going to happen? In time frame specifically, we've been seeing investment conferences year in, year out. But I mean, practically on the ground, what is actually happening?
We are prioritizing the growth of the economy because we are aware that there are a lot of young people that are looking for employment. It is true. So it's not something that we're brushing aside. So our focus is going to particularly to ensure that we bring young people into the economy. We put in a lot of resources in the schooling system so that they are skilled. But also as they get out of colleges and universities, of course, they need to get jobs. And that's why economy is a priority for us. We've gone around in the Northern Cape. I was here in Galeshewe today. Yes, there are young people who are saying, look, we are not employed. So we have to prioritize that, and it is happening. We have not reached the numbers that we should reach, but we're going to push hard this year.
So TG, you're in charge of, the coffers of the largest liberation and the oldest liberation movement, so to speak, in the African continent. About 1 million ANC card-carrying members. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it seems as if the ANC is in a financial crisis. Correct me if I'm wrong as well. There are reports, some people have come forth, reliably so, and told the SABC that you have not paid, proceedings from last year's January 8 statement. There are buses, different service providers that need to be paid. Late last year in December, we saw reports of, the ANC staff not being paid. What is actually going on within the ANC?
Well, you're quite right. We are a very big organization. But I think many people also forget that we're actually an NGO. We're not a business. And because we are an NGO, we rely on donations. We rely on membership fees. We rely on funding from our public representatives. They already pay a percentage of their salaries to the ANC, and we need to use those resources sparingly to make sure that we address the programs of the ANC. We pay our staff, and indeed we have paid them in December. Since I came in as TG in 2017, there's no 1 month where members of the ANC went away without being paid salaries. So we've paid them. And going forward, we're going to ensure exactly that. But we need to manage our program in such a way that we cut costs where we can. We are already relooking at the organization in terms of our organogram. We have appointed the companies to review and look at critical posts, so we ensure that the staffing is not bloated. So we are busy looking at that. We're looking at our programs. There are programs where we may not do rallies because we can do other cheaper ways to reaching out to our members. Yes, so we are managing. If you talk about debts, yes, there's no organization that doesn't have debts.
So are you admitting that you still owe, service providers from last year's January 8 statements?
There may be people that we owe. I have to check the details, but it's probably minimal. We do have debts, yes, it's true. But we always, when we owe people, we call them and we make arrangements how to pay them gradually. But we try, when we do our events, we budget for them first. But sometimes the problem is created by over expenditure. You say to comrades, look, your budget is so much for buses, and then before you know it, they come at TG, there are taxis that arrived, there's so-and-so that arrived, and then it goes beyond budget, and then we have to go and get resources then to pay people. But we do keep to our commitments to pay people we owe.
Okay. TG, I hear what you're saying. You're saying you are admitting now that, okay, listen, there may be people that you are owing, buses, taxis, various service providers, but I mean, from 1 year, from last year till this year, I mean, people need to feed their families, people go through the festive season without any money.
We are paying people we owe when we have resources. That's why I'm saying, if there's somebody we owe for buses for last year will not be paid, they'll bring information to me. I'll make arrangements to pay them.
So does this then mean that the ANC is somewhat in a financial crisis?
The ANC is not a rich organization, so there will be no time where we are cash flushed. We are a poor organization, but we are surviving.
Also, the undertones that I'm getting from the ANC that, the ANC is a movement for all, the ANC is transparent, and by transparency, I mean, will you divulge how much the ANC is planning to spend for this year's January 8 statement as compared to last year?
Now, remember, the funds that we use are funds donated by our members, are funds donated by private corporates, private individuals. So we have no obligation to disclose that to anybody because it's not public funds. So I can't be telling you how much I spent for January 8 for elections because It's our private business. I only tell our members and those who donate to us how much I'm spending on this because they are donating the money. Otherwise, other people, why must they know?
Just for the lack of transparency, TG, you might not know.
No transparency in private matters. Yeah, the ANC is not a public institution. It's an organization.
But it serves the public. It is a governing party.
Yes, but those who donate to us, we tell them how we use the money. Those who don't, why do they want to know?
TG, another bone of contention with the people here in Kimberley. I mean, time and time again, people see the January 8th statement as just a once-off function. Leaders come, campaign, promise people dreams, as some might put it, on the ground, and then just leave, and everything just goes back to normal. Yet again, you saw the conditions yourself of the people in Kimberley: high unemployment levels, substance abuse, just in terms of service delivery, basic service delivery, there's a lack of service delivery, sewage all over. I mean, what is the ANC's plan? At the beginning of the interview, you had said that it's time for implementation. This was also rehashed by the president, the ANC president, last year at his January 8th statement, saying that, listen, enough talk, it's time to implement. How then will you promise us that this time coming around, when you leave the Kimberley, some things will actually be implemented?
This is going to be a year of action. We've told all our NEC members, ministers, don't go to communities and ask them again and again what their problems are. We know. Go there and tell them how are we fixing the problems. Of course, working with people. So when we go to these communities, door to door, meeting people, we're also discussing with them our plans. We tell them what are we going to do. Problems of water in Kuruman. Yesterday, Minister Sisulu was there with his top management, looking at how to implement the plans to help people there, so that we don't come back and say to the people of Kuruman, what's your problem? Okay. So we've moved away from the door-to-door of asking. Okay. We're now door-to-door of telling people how we're implementing our plan or where the challenges are. But from time to time, people will raise new things as well. Okay. The issue of unemployment is a problem of the whole country. It's not a problem of the Northern Cape. Okay. We have told the people the reason why we are prioritizing the economy, the building of our economy, so that we can create jobs. Okay. And we're going to work hard to do that. We must sort out our energy sector to propel growth, get investments in. We are doing it. We are going to push hard. It's not an easy job.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. And of course, we will hold you accountable. We will have an update interview with you
I agree
on that.
With you that we must be transparent and report our programs, not about money.
Okay. Well, there you have it, Nompu, and of course, to our SABC viewers, the TG of the ANC saying that 2020 indeed is a year of action. And of course, conceding that there are people, certain service providers that weren't paid from last year's January 8th statement. And of course, they will be dealing with such problems. But of course, as the SABC, we promise to hold our leadership accountable. And of course, we will definitely